All right. Let's 10x our thinking today.
Yeah.
We're going to be diving into Grant Cardone's The 10x Rule
Love it.
using this really awesome summary that you put together for us.
It's great. A fantastic way to get the key concepts out and
Yeah.
really kind of apply it to your own life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the 10x Rule, for people who haven't heard of it,
Right?
is basically all about setting goals 10 times higher
Huge.
than you think you need and putting in 10 times the effort to hit them.
You got it.
I have to admit, when I first heard about it, I was like, this sounds crazy. Like,
Yeah.
is this even possible?
Right.
But the more I kind of dug into it,
Yeah.
I realized there's actually a method
There is.
to this 10x madness.
It's definitely a bold approach.
Totally.
It challenges conventional wisdom
Yeah.
about how we set goals.
Yeah,
And it really pushes you to break free from limitations.
for sure.
What I think is so interesting about Cardone's approach is this.
Yeah,
He doesn't just talk about setting bigger goals.
right.
He emphasizes massive action,
Yeah.
and he says that most people operate at one of 4 levels of action.
Okay, let's,
Do nothing,
yeah.
retreat,
Okay,
normal action,
yeah,
and massive action,
got it.
which of course is the 10x way.
Right.
So it's easy to see how we all fall into those first 3, right?
Totally.
Procrastinate, avoid challenges, or just put in the bare minimum.
Right, just enough to get
Just enough to get by, exactly.
Yeah.
But to achieve extraordinary results, you've got to operate at that 4th level.
Massive action.
Massive action.
So instead of just dipping our toes in the water, we need to, like,
Jump in.
dive in head first, cannonball,
Exactly.
right into the deep end.
He uses a great analogy to illustrate this.
Yeah.
Think about the way that children approach new challenges.
Really?
They're not afraid to fail. They don't worry what other people think.
Uh-huh.
They just go all in, give it everything they've got.
I love that. It's like you see a little kid building a Lego tower,
Totally.
totally focused, determined.
Nothing's going to stop them.
Right.
That's the kind of energy we need to bring to our goals.
It's tapping back into that
Yeah.
pure enthusiasm
Yeah.
for creating, for achieving.
And I think this ties directly into why aiming for average can actually set us up for failure.
Yeah, this is where the 10x thinking really shines.
Okay.
Because in a world that's constantly changing, evolving,
Right.
what's considered average today
Right.
might be obsolete tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You think back to the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, yeah.
It hit the middle class hard. It highlighted the danger of settling.
For just a comfortable existence.
For just being comfortable. Yeah, 10x thinking is about future-proofing your success.
So it's not enough to just keep up with the Joneses. We need to be striving for something way beyond that.
Constantly pushing ourselves,
Yeah.
challenging limitations,
Yeah.
which can be scary, which is why Cardone sees fear as a good thing.
Wait, fear. Like being afraid.
Yeah.
I feel like most people try to avoid fear at all costs. Right, but he flips the script on that.
Okay.
He says that fear is an indicator that you're on the right track,
Interesting.
that you're pushing yourself beyond that comfort zone.
Okay.
If you're not feeling any fear, you're probably not aiming high enough.
So those butterflies in our stomach,
Yeah.
we should actually embrace them
Embrace them.
as a sign that we're on the verge of something big.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So we've talked about taking massive action,
Yeah.
embracing fear,
Uh-huh.
but what about time? Like, how do we find the time to do 10 times more
Right.
than we're already doing?
That brings us to time management, the myth of time management.
Okay.
Cardone says it's not about managing time, it's about managing your output within that time.
Right. We all have the same 24 hours.
Exactly. It's what we do with those 24 hours.
Right.
He actually has a personal story about this. When his daughter was born,
Yeah.
he started waking up an hour earlier so that he could spend time with her without sacrificing his work.
That's sweet.
And he just shifted things around, made it work.
That's such a good illustration of like
Yeah.
how 10x thinking can force us to get creative with our time, to
Exactly.
become more resourceful.
Yes, it's about resourcefulness.
And this brings us to something I think is really interesting.
Okay.
Customer satisfaction versus customer acquisition.
Of this.
Because we're always told the customer's always right.
Right. Customer satisfaction is key.
Right. That's like the
That's what they say.
golden rule of business.
Right.
But Cardone actually kind of flips that on his head a little bit.
He challenges it.
Yeah.
He says that focusing initially on massive customer growth
Okay.
can be more beneficial than obsessing over perfect satisfaction right away.
Interesting.
Obviously, customer satisfaction is important,
Yeah.
but sometimes you got to disrupt the norm
Okay.
to achieve 10x results.
So like get your product out there, then worry about making everyone happy.
Exactly. Get it out there, build some momentum, then fine-tune it.
So like a prototype, get feedback as you go.
Exactly. It's a process. It's not like a one-time thing.
Right, you're constantly improving.
Constantly evolving.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to, well, pretty much everything.
And we're just getting started.
Oh boy.
Next, we're going to dive into breaking free from the middle-class mindset.
Now, hold on. When we say that,
Yeah.
we're not talking about income brackets.
No, not at all.
It's more about, like, a way of thinking.
A mentality, a mindset.
Yeah. So what does that look like?
Yeah.
And how do we break free?
It's about recognizing those self-imposed limitations, those ceilings we put on ourselves.
Ooh, interesting.
We'll unpack that and more right after this quick break.
Okay, so we're talking about breaking free from the middle-class mindset.
Yeah, it's a powerful idea.
But I'm still not totally sure what it actually means.
Yeah, it's not about your income level. It's more about a way of thinking, a mentality that can hold people back from reaching your full potential.
So what does that look like?
Think about the way a lot of people approach their goals. They set these small, achievable goals because they're afraid to fail or, they settle for good enough
Yeah, instead of shooting for the stars.
instead of striving for greatness. Exactly.
So it's like that voice in our heads that's always telling us to play it safe.
Yeah, don't aim too high.
Don't take too many risks.
Exactly. Stay within your comfort zone.
And that's exactly what Cardone's pushing back against.
He wants us to break free from those limitations and reach for something extraordinary.
So how do we actually do that? How do we shift our mindset to think in a more, 10x kind of way?
It starts with awareness,
Okay.
recognizing those limiting beliefs that are holding us back, and then consciously choosing to replace those beliefs with more empowering ones.
So instead of saying, I could never do that,
Yeah.
we start saying, what would it take for me to achieve that?
Exactly. It's a subtle shift, but it can make all the difference.
And that ties in with the whole abundance mindset, right?
Yes, absolutely. Believing that there's enough success to go around, that we all have the potential to achieve great things.
That's a really empowering thought.
It is, and it leads us to another important point, the power of name recognition.
Ah, yes. I remember Cardone talks a lot about building a strong personal brand.
He does. He believes it's one of the most valuable assets we can have.
Like that saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly. And in today's world, with so much information and competition, having a recognizable name or brand can make all the difference.
Think about companies like Apple or Uber.
Yeah, they've become synonymous with their industries.
They've built such strong brand recognition that their names have become verbs. You Google something, you Uber somewhere.
That's the power of a memorable name.
And it's not just companies. Individuals can build strong personal brands too.
Absolutely. You see it all the time with thought leaders, influencers, or even people in your own network who have a reputation for excellence.
It's about becoming the go-to person in your field.
It's about building trust and credibility, which takes time and effort and consistent action.
So how do we start building that kind of name recognition?
It starts with identifying your unique value proposition.
Okay.
What are you truly passionate about?
Yeah.
What are you good at? What makes you stand out?
Once you figure that out,
Yeah.
then it's all about putting yourself out there, right?
Exactly. Share your knowledge, your expertise, your story.
Network, collaborate, build relationships.
Yes, and consistently deliver value to your audience.
This reminds me of what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
About embracing fear.
Right, because building a personal brand often requires us to step outside of our comfort zones.
Put ourselves out there in a way that feels, kind of vulnerable.
But that vulnerability can be powerful.
Yeah, it allows us to connect with others on a deeper level.
To build trust and authenticity.
And ultimately, to create a name for ourselves that resonates with the people we want to reach.
Exactly.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We've talked about setting 10x goals, taking massive action, embracing fear, breaking free from limiting beliefs.
We've explored the importance of managing our output, prioritizing customer acquisition.
And building a strong personal brand.
Phew, my brain is full, but in a good way.
It's a lot to process, but it's incredibly empowering.
It really is. So what's the one key takeaway? If our listeners remember one thing from this whole conversation about the 10X rule, what should it be?
I think the most important thing is to remember that success is a choice.
Ooh,
It's not something that just happens to us. It's something we create.
through our actions.
Our beliefs, our commitment to reaching our full potential.
And that is the essence of the 10X rule.
Yeah, it really is.
So as we're wrapping this up, I'm curious, what's resonating most with you from all this? What's like one big takeaway from the 10x rule that you're going to walk away with?
Hmm. I think for me, what stands out is how this isn't just about like external success. It's about pushing ourselves to become better, like the best version of ourselves, embracing those challenges, the risks, constantly trying to grow.
Right. And even if we don't, like, actually hit that 10x mark on every goal, imagine the progress we'll make just by trying, by putting in the effort.
Oh, yeah, totally. It makes me think about what Cardone said about fear being a compass. Reminds me of that Eleanor Roosevelt quote, do one thing every day that scares you.
I love that. And it's so true. It doesn't have to be huge, just something that pushes you a little.
Yeah.
So thinking about that, what's one step, even a small one, that you could take today toward a goal you've been putting off? Could be reaching out to someone, signing up for that course, finally starting that project.
Even just writing down that 10x goal, putting it somewhere you'll see it every day, like that visual reminder, it can be really powerful.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 10x rule, here's my final thought-provoking question for you. What's one goal you're ready to 10x? And what's the first bold action you can take today to make it happen? Remember, even those small steps, multiplied by massive action, lead to those extraordinary results.
That's it. And if you're ready to go even deeper, definitely check out Cardone's full book, The 10X Rule. It's got a ton more strategies and insights that can help you reach those goals.
Absolutely. All right, until next time, keep pushing those boundaries, embrace those challenges, and remember, 10x everything.